were then. Throughout this nation's history, America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have bravely answered the call to defend our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back aggressors. We can never fully repay our debt of gratitude to the more than 650,000 American service members who died in battle, or the 1.4 million who were wounded. We can, however, recognize and thank the 25 million veterans still living today. These words are inscribed on the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C. Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered the call to defend a country they never knew and a people they never met. Those words apply equally to many of our World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, and Gulf War veterans as well. They apply to today's active duty members, tomorrow's veterans, who are all helping to maintain peace throughout the world. Today, it is our privilege to say thank you to all the Americans' veterans, to let them know that we appreciate them for their service and to honor them for their sacrifices. The price of freedom is too high. We cannot afford to forget those willing to pay it. And today we celebrate America's veterans for keeping this nation the land of the free and the home of the brave. And now we'll listen to Oliver Brassel present his essay from the Patriots Pen Essay Contest.
Patriotism to me means supporting my nation. A country is simply a collection of people who agree the country is indeed a country. Without citizen participation, a nation would collapse. That can vary from simple actions to those that take a lifetime, being informed and voting to having a patriotic job. Being informed is a citizen's first step. The rise of globalization makes it easier and more important to be informed locally, nationally, and globally. Patriotism is not just a blind devotion to my nation. Representative Ron Paul noted during his farewell speech to Congress, real patriotism is a willingness to challenge the government when it's wrong. To better your knowledge, it is important to discuss ideas with others, write elected officials, and protest. Then apply that knowledge when voting. Voting is essential to ensure a nation accurately represents its citizens. My scoutmaster once stated, "We have a small revolution every few years. It's called an election." Expressing one's views through writing and protesting is patriotic. But the only way to ensure a citizen's views are represented is to vote for what one believes. It is not only important to vote in large, flashy national elections, but also in local elections. Not only would my vote be more influential in determining the outcome, it will also impact me more. Everything from taxes, public education, and drug laws are largely regulated by local governments. Patriotism is also something that lifetimes are dedicated to. Patriotic jobs serve two major goals: protecting the nation or helping others become upstanding citizens, even if that is a citizen of a different nation. Careers that protect the nation include serving in the military and police force, while careers that help others develop into quality citizens would be the Peace Corps or being an educator or journalist. A nation can fall apart if it faces an external threat or is torn apart by violence from the inside. Helping others to be productive citizens ensures that our nation and all other nations will continue to strive. Acts of patriotism can vary greatly, but they all have one commonality: the expression of one's love for their country by making it the best it can feasibly be for all who inhabit it and observe it. President Kennedy sums it up best in his inaugural address. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Thank you.
Now for a short lesson on the Navajo code talkers who provided an important role in the Battle of Iwo Jima during World War II.
Over 200 Navajo code talkers participated on the landing of Iwo Jima. 5th Marine Division were on the north side of the island. A company of Marines were pinned down real badly. They were being fired upon from 3 different directions. Mortar shells were being dropped down. They were hunkering desperately in their foxhole. Company commander wrote down a message asking for help, handed to a Navajo code talker. This is what the Navajo code talker said. This is the actual message that was sent on Eagle. Tepe ana hachi bi dati tahi de na sonse taji chochin sita sa ta asta na ki shash. What does that mean? This is what he said in Navajo. Sheep, eyes, nose, deer, destroyer, tea, mouse, turkey, onion, sick horse, 3, 6, 2, bear. As each Navajo word came through the air, the code talker down at the beach command post, he writes it down in English. What did he write down? Send demolition team to Hill 362B. There were 3 hills on the north side, 362A, 362B, and 362C. Beneath 362B was the problem. This message took 20 seconds. After 20 seconds, Beach Command Post organized a rescue team to save that company of Marines. If that message was sent in English code, it would have taken 30 minutes. 20 seconds in Navajo, 30 minutes in English code. Those guys pinned down on north side didn't have 30 minutes. Without Navajo, Marines would never have taken the island of Iwo Jima. That's how critical Navajo code was to the war in the Pacific. And we should never forget what war is. War is something that nobody wants. It's bad, it's ugly. But so long as we are together, no matter what nationality you are, if you are American and love this country, we all have to stick together to keep this nation strong. Our freedom and liberty means so much, meant so much for those who never made it home. So it's up to us now to keep this nation strong and prosperous.
Taps is often played in military funerals to honor the fallen, and it's also played many times at the end of the night. I heard it every night in boot camp before we went to bed. It was lights out. This is a short history on the taps, and we'll play this before reading off the list of veterans that we want to all remember.
For 150 years, the bugle call taps has been heard throughout the United States. First developed as the call for lights out, it soon transformed into that call that's heard at military funerals. Today, the call is heard virtually in every corner of our nation, sounded at funerals for veterans, those who have served our country. In 1862, Union General Daniel Butterfield and his brigade bugler, Oliver Wilcox Norton, revised an earlier bugle call to create the 24 notes we know today as taps. The new call quickly spread throughout the Union Army and was soon used even by Confederates to signal the end of the day. Later that same year, at a battlefield funeral, Captain John Tibble chose to forego firing the customary volleys over the grave for fear that he might rouse the enemy. The captain chose the sounding of taps as the most appropriate substitute. Today, sounding taps at ceremonies is the most sacred duty a bugler can perform. When I sound taps at a funeral, I'm sometimes approached by family members who wish to thank me for being part of the service. To answer "you're welcome" seems inadequate. Instead, I always reply, "It is my honor."
Brian Bain, Army. Retired Lieutenant Colonel Robert Becker, Air Force. Gerald Brown, Army. Eric Brown, Army. Lyle Jones, Army. Lawrence Hoffman, Army. Mark Wojcicki, Army and Army National Guard. Leo Mernon, Navy. James Gordon Kaler, Navy. Donald Friedrichsen, Navy. Joseph Tell, Navy and Kevin Krosnick, Air National Guard. James Michael Nichols, Navy. Mark Johnson, Air Force. Marine Corps. Brian Donnelly, Marine Corps. Joseph Peterson, Navy and Army. Miles Baxter, Army. Robert Bailey, Air Force. Lynn Jones, Coast Guard. Bill Muling, Navy. Jeff Fink, Army Coast Guard. Army and Coast Guard. Richard Laws, Air Force. Bella Port, Air Force. Brent, Army. Ansel Maw, Army. Jerry Peck, Army. William Marshall Collins, Navy. William Harry Collins, Army. James Collins, Air Force. Richard Mitchell, National Guard. Keisha Mitchell, National Guard. Stephen Ryan, Army. Bill Hansen, Army. Joseph DeVito, Navy. Joe Reinecke, Army Reserve. Keith Wacker, Army. Clarence